GTX 5070, here it comes. Blows the 4090 to kingdom come.
Greetings! Today we're talking about this plugin in Blender I've been developing called Music Motion, which will sync your audio files up to your models in Blender so you can get some nice animations. So let's jump right into it. Let's jump into the side panel right here, and I'm going to show you we have this Music Motion plugin. I'm going to go ahead and expand this out, and we're just going to start from the top and work our way down so we can load our tracks in here. So if I hit the little plus button, we load in our track right there, and we get to choose our audio file right here. I'm going to go ahead and choose my instrumental track right here. I have two different tracks I'm going to be loading. We're going to be affecting this cube right here. So going down the list, sound name, you don't have to type that in. That'll fill that in once we load in the actual audio. Track strength, this is how affected your track is going to be affected by. So we can choose different parameters like position, rotation. So if we're applying this audio file to apply on the rotation of this, we could turn down the track strength so it's not as effective. So it's not, it might be rotating this much, but instead you only want to rotate just a little bit. So you could turn up or down the track strength to adjust how much that transform is going to be affected. Next up, we have frequency range. We could choose bass, mids, or highs. I like using this option if I only have one audio file. But right now I have two stems. So when I'm dealing with different stems, if I have all the different tracks, then I typically leave it on all frequencies. But that option's there if you only got one track to work with. This will help you kind of get some separation and get some different kind of animations. Smoothing, it's set at 0 right now. If there's no smoothing applied, then it's going to be a little bit jittery because it's going to be looking at the raw audio data. So I'm going to turn up the smoothing just a little bit, maybe 0.2. It goes between 0 and 1 is the max. Load to sequencer means it's going to load your audio file into the sequencer so we could actually hear the audio. Otherwise, it's just going to create the animation without actually loading the audio file into Blender for us to hear. Typically, we're probably going to want to hear what we're animating and what we're being synced to audio. So I leave that load to sequencer. But in case you want to load just your master file, which has all the tracks already there, you can uncheck that. Okay, but I'm going to leave that checked for now. For this, we're going to apply it on rotation, and you can see we can choose apply on position, rotation, or we could scale up, or we could scale down with scale big and scale small. Next, we could choose which axis we want to affect with these parameters. So we could choose X, Y, Z, or a combination of the both, or all of them. I'm just going to leave it on Y here for the rotation. Global settings, and then we have frame offset if we want to offset the animation. I'm just going to leave it on default because I don't want to offset. And global strength takes the strength of all your tracks and either raises them or lowers them. I'm just going to leave it at default. Okay, so now we can hit load audio, and we can see up here the sound name is going to update. Track has been loaded, and now we can bake the sounds to F curves. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my N frame up to 700 because the vocals start around frame 500, and I want to make sure we can get some of those vocals. And before I hit bake the sounds to F curves, there's this button down here called set timeline to audio length. So if you do that, it'll set your end length of your timeline to match the end frame of what your audio file is. I don't need to do my whole audio file right now, which is probably around 3,000 or 4,000 frames, just because that'll take a little extra time to compute, so I'm not going to press that. But you're probably going to want to hit this set timeline to audio length button if you want the audio to match the full animation. But if you don't press that if you're only doing a segment of your song. So I think that all looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and bake sound to F curves. And that'll take a minute here. And once that's done, we'll see that we have a bunch of keyframes here, all animating on the rotation on the x-axis for this instrumental track. And then, oh, there we go. So there's our keyframes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play here so we can give a listen and see. Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring in Suzanne the monkey. We're gonna go ahead and do this again, but with a different track. So, got our monkey right there. Yep. And then we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna choose a different track here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up, there we go, a vocal track. And instead of applying on rotation, we're gonna go ahead and scale big, and we're gonna scale up on all the axis. And I think that's looking good. That's all I really need to do. I'm just gonna hit load audio and then bake sound to F curves. Then we'll go ahead and wait for that. Okay, and we're done right here. So let's go ahead and give a listen. Okay. Not much rotation. Vocals are about to kick in.
GTX 5070, here it comes. Blows the 4090 to kingdom come. Faster speeds, cooler.
Yeah, there you go. You could see Suzanne was scaling up just on the vocal part, and we had our instrumental being driven on the rotation on this cube. And that's pretty much it. This is the plugin. It's a quicker way to kind of set up your keyframing or animations that are attached to your various models and attributes. And you know, something else you could always do too, if you're a little bit more advanced into Blender and you want to use this animation data, you could always, you know, go over to your object and then just copy the driver. Copy as a new driver. And then here, let me make something else right here, an icosphere. And let me just paste the driver here just on the x-axis.
GTX 5070, here it comes. Blows the 4090 to kingdom come.
There we go. Now we have it animating on just the x-axis because we already made the keyframes from over here on Suzanne. You know, you could hook up these parameters to anything you want, to particle emitters, to various things in the modifier menu for making all sorts of cool, crazy visual effects. And that's where you come in. You design what you want to happen. This tool is just here to help you kind of speed up getting those audio tracks loaded up with all your different audio files you have. All right, that's it. Thanks for checking this out. This is on the Blender Marketplace. This is Music Motion. I'm out. See ya. Bye.